What's up, everybody? Ratchet Davo here for part three of the SV650 track build. Today, what I'm going to be doing on this bike is bleeding the front and rear brakes, putting the radiator back on, making sure all the wiring is situated, excuse me, and sanding down the tank to get painted black, as well as the rear fairings over here. Those are going to get painted black as well. So I'm not trying to go for like super nice. Apparently the guy that had it before me did some sort of body work or metal work on this, and I can almost, it's really hard to see with the camera, but you can almost see like he painted over what seems to be like almost like the Suzuki stickers. I mean, it's too late now to go back on it, but I'm just going to try to sand it down smooth, so it can just be painted black. It's not going to be professional, but I don't like red like this. This is just ugly to me, so we're going to do something about it. And as well as bleeding the brakes, I'm going to mount the reservoir and mess with getting all the hoses routed, so that I don't have any issues with them running into the rear wheel or anything. So that is what's going to happen. Let's get to it. Alright, I'm to the point now where I'm ready to bleed the front brakes. So I temporarily have mounted the reservoir for that, but I accidentally broke it. Right there, it broke, the plastic did. So now I have to go, I'm going to have to buy a new one of those, but it shouldn't be too expensive. But for now, it's fine. What I want to do really is just check to make sure that the calipers, the pistons and the calipers are still moving. I'm worried that it might be seized up. I don't know when's the last time they were used, so we're going to throw some fluid through it and try to bleed the brakes, see what happens. So, let's see. And I'll walk you through the process. It's super simple. Not hard at all. I was reading online that this system typically takes .4. All I have is .3, but really I'm just checking the status of the system, and I can always bleed this fluid out of there once I get some .4. So I'm going to first go and reposition this line that's upside down here and kind of point it out towards this way a little bit more. Not too much because I don't want it to hit that, but I want to get it away from this for now. I don't want to puncture any lines. This is also to check to make sure there are no leaks in any lines anywhere. So hopefully there's no issues or leaks. I'm going to have to buy more stuff, but the brakes are super important, and it's something, as much as you want to be on a budget build, some things you just have to spend money on. It's just something you have to do sometimes. So I would suggest having like a pan of some sort under the bike while you do this, because inevitably you always are going to be leaking brake fluid. But I'll show you a way that kind of prevents a bunch of leaking from happening. Oh man, that was on there really tight. Okay. Looks like there's a little bit of fluid in there already, but I just want this right here. Yeah, so there's a little bit of fluid in the system already. I can see because it's already dripping down here. Alright, that's perfect. I just wanted that to be slightly repositioned up here to prevent anything crazy from happening. So now I'm just gonna pour some fluid in there. And what you do to prevent a lot of fluid from coming out, and I'll do it on this side because this side's much better lit up, is you find the size wrench that you need, and that's like, of course, the tiniest wrench possible. And I don't even know if I have a wrench that small. It's like an 8mm, and I'm almost positive I don't have a wrench that small. Yeah, let's see. Alright, let me find, oh, let me see. No, it's too big. Let me try to find a wrench that's the right size or some sort of tool I can use, and then I'll get back to you. Alright guys, slight change of plans to this episode a little bit. So I was working on the brakes, and I was filming, and unfortunately the brakes on this thing are just not working out. I think they might be seized up, so I'm gonna probably remove those instead. So yeah, they're just, I don't know, I can't get them to move, so I need to take them off and take a peek at them. So that's kind of probably gonna be happening here shortly, is getting those brakes off and going through the system and seeing if I can either get those pistons to move inside the brakes or something, but I need some sort of brakes, and I'm going to start with the front and then move to the rear. And I tried with the rear and it just won't budge, so there's a couple things it could be. But as you can see, I JB welded for now the radiator to try to put it together, and just so I can run it for a longer time. But what I have here is I bought on eBay these little kits. So this is kind of what happened with this bike. I guess when it got dropped or hit or whatever, this piece wasn't coming off or something. Well, the key broke inside. I have it somewhere. And the guy's been using a screwdriver ever since. So yeah, the key broke inside the ignition. So I've been able to, basically this is stuck in the on position. So when I plug it in, the bike's ready to start up. So I can either keep this and just have it in the on position all the time, but I think that's why the battery died. But what I did for like, I think 30 bucks total, is I went on eBay, and you can get a whole kit for these bikes with an ignition, switch, a new tank, so it has all the same key, a new tank latch to open up the fuel tank, and then for the rear seat, which I probably won't need, but just in case, just a little lock, and all this blue stuff comes off. That's just a protective layering while you're installing it. But yeah, definitely gonna need these. And push it and lock it. I won't need that probably, but yeah, pretty sweet little setup. So that way you got, and it's not saying it's the best parts in the world. I'm just saying that it works. So there we go. So that unlocks that. So that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna be working on, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the brakes off, put the radiator back on, and kind of get this thing at a good place. I'm gonna try to work on the exhaust this week, and I'll have that film. Maybe not this episode, but maybe the next. And radiator back on, front brakes off, and I might start sanding down the gas tank and getting that ready to rock and roll. That way I can put the new tank piece on. As far as I know, this takes a screwdriver. I'm kind of curious. I actually have not touched that yet. So he said this, with a screwdriver, this tank piece comes off. Indeed it does. It does rotate with a screwdriver. There it is. And just like that, that opens the tank. So screwdriver works. Not exactly what you want, but I'll leave that shut while I sand it down, and then basically I can leave this on and I won't even have to tape anything off on the tank, and I can repaint it and everything. I'll remove it and paint it and stuff later. So I might just throw everything on time lapse because everything's pretty basic on this part of it. There's really no need to mess with it too much. So that's kind of the plan right now.